Hello, I'm Ken Holland. I'm with Construction Risk LLC. Pleasure to present this webinar today on payment clauses and design professional contracts. And what we're going to be talking about primarily will be pay if paid, pay when paid clauses. And if you're a prime contractor and you have a sub, you certainly don't want to have to pay your sub until your owner, client, has paid you. And so you use a pay if paid clause to accomplish that. Now, some states will not allow you to do a pay if paid clause. They say no, you always have to pay your sub within some reasonable time, so they will convert it into a pay when paid. But pay when paid means that you still have to pay within some reasonable period of time, even if you don't get paid by your client. What we do is, if we are a sub-consultant, we want to have a provision in there that says that even if our client doesn't get paid, they still have to pay us within some period of time, and usually I'll say within 90 days, and that's what I have in my slide here. The other thing that we'd like to do is put a right to stop your services if you don't get paid. And so you'll see on this slide here, it says if payment of an undisputed amount that is due isn't paid within 60 days of your invoice, then you can stop your services upon 7 days written notice to your client. We think that's a very reasonable clause. It prevents you from having to work long term without being paid. And we're seeing a lot of owner-generated contracts today that are requiring a designer to do redesign without any additional compensation. Maybe a supply chain problem, labor cost increases, inflation, all things beyond the designer's control. It's okay for the designer to agree to do the redesign, but you should be paid for it unless the redesign was necessitated by your willful misconduct or your negligence. And so in this slide you'll see that after it says you're going to do the redesign, we add, and you'll do that without additional compensation if the reason the redesign was necessary was because of your willful misconduct or your failure to meet the standard of care. What about disclaiming any kind of a warranty of cost estimates? I have on this slide a good example of a warranty disclaimer. And then I have a slide showing you a good example dealing with what happens when cost estimates are exceeded. And this clause says that you don't have control over all these issues on the project concerning what costs are going to come in from a contractor. And unless the cost is exceeded because of your willful misconduct or your negligence, you're not responsible. So these are all things that we typically add in our contracts to protect the designer. If you have any questions, you can give me a call. This is my information on this slide here. And if you have any insurance questions, call Linda Colucci at AE ProNet, and here's her phone number. Thank you very much.